A little bird told me about another YouTuber that goes by the name of Eli Turp. And this YouTuber, he's a Nintendo music producer. He gets Nintendo music from games and he remasters it. And I thought, that's really good. I'm a massive fan of music, particularly Nintendo music. It's one of the best music genres out there, just video game music. And Nintendo music in particular really has my heart. So I thought, this is great. This is my chance to challenge you, Elijah Turp, to a Nintendo music war. Yes guys, you heard this correctly. This is an announcement for the Nintendo Music Wars. Now, what are the Nintendo Music Wars, you ask? Even though you didn't ask. Are basically a brand new and exclusive series coming to the JR's Gaming Podcast, the podcast I run. Go and check it out, because this is going to be really fun. Me and a fellow YouTuber and music producer, Eli Turp, sat down and we both thought, why don't we do something really exciting? Because right now he is actually my temporary co-host for the podcast, because my current co-host Rowan Fern is away. So we thought, why don't we do something exciting, something that's going to be fun? So we decided to launch the Nintendo Music Wars. I'm no major musician. I played the bass in a band. I love music. My favourite genres is like the 80s music. I love 80s music, city pop, Japanese rock bands. I love all that sort of style. I've got a very unique sort of style. But anyway, nevertheless to say, I'm a massive fan of music. And along with my favourite genres of music, I've got to say, Nintendo and their games have produced some of the best music pieces I've ever heard in my life, including Xenoblade, Monster Hunters and Smash Bros. These are just a few of some of the games that have one of the most awesome music tracks you'll ever hear. The first sort of game that really got me in love with Nintendo music was Professor Layton and the Lost Future. I mean, that was one of my first ever sort of games I kind of played when I picked up the Nintendo DS Lite, and I was like blown away by the music. There was a really nice mix of music in there, particularly emotional stuff, and I really loved it, particularly the end credit, which I really recommend you go and check out, the Lost Future theme. It is absolutely mind-blowingly emotional. Loved it, blew me away. And that was just an open door to Nintendo music and what I love about it. So I've always been blown away by Nintendo music. It's turned into a massive thing for me, and I do think it's underestimated, like Nintendo music as a whole. There's some really good gems out there. This is going to be a really exciting experience. Basically two YouTubers, two massive Nintendo fans, me and Elijah. He's a musician, I'm a host to a podcast and a YouTuber who loves to play Nintendo. This is going to be an interesting match. Now you're probably thinking, how is this all going to work? Well, basically, me and Elijah will be going head to head every single Saturday. We'll be presenting before you a game soundtrack, and we'll be presenting before you 3 music tracks from that game soundtrack that we like. So let's give an example. Let's say Elijah chose Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and I chose Yokai Watch 2. Completely different games, completely different, they're one's for the Switch, one's for the 3DS. We're going to choose 3 and present 3 of our favourite music tracks from the game soundtracks in the podcast episode, and explain why we love the music soundtrack in a whole and why we love these 3 in particular soundtracks. That's when the debate, the fun comes in. We're both going to argue about what we think wins, what we think is better, why we think our game soundtrack that's been picked should win. So I'll be arguing that Yokai Watch 2 should win, and he'll be arguing why Pokemon Scarlet and Violet should win, why the music is better. Me and Elijah are extremely biased. We're never going to come to a conclusion of who wins. We're extremely biased. So this is where you come in, the listener, the viewer, relying on you guys to actually vote in each week. So at the end of each episode, you've got 1 week till next Saturday to vote in which game soundtrack you preferred over the other one. So there's going to be, of course, polls going out on community posts, our Instagram, Discord, and if you can't access any of that, please go and write into our email, jrsgaming135@gmail.com, and write in what your vote is. And if you don't want to do that, comment down below, comment underneath the video. Use every form possible to get in touch with us and tell us your vote. And we will take all that in, and on the next episode of the Nintendo Music Wars, we will then read out the winner of that week, and the winner of that week will get 1 point. At the end of the series, the person with the most points wins. the Nintendo Music Wars. And that's either going to be me or Elijah. I am really, really excited for this challenge because, as I explained before, I'm a massive fan of Nintendo music. I dig it. I absolutely love it. So the very fact that I'm putting this series together on my podcast is really exciting. And credit where it's due, this was Elijah's idea. So this was a great idea and I'm really hoping it goes well. This is the first time I've launched something really big that involves all my listeners and viewers, so please get involved. This really does involve you. First of all, please go over and subscribe to the Giles Gaming Podcast and then listen and stay tuned for the first episode of the Nintendo Music Wars. Now, for those of you who are already up to date with the whole podcast, we will also be uploading just regular episodes, but instead of the Nintendo Music of the Week segment in there, that'll be taken out. It'll just be a general episode with news of the week and question of the week. We'll then have one more episode being uploaded alongside it, which is the Nintendo Music Wars. And now each episode will be about 20 minutes long, short episodes. It's designed to be engaging and fun and get you guys to vote with us. Which game do you think wins? So if you love Nintendo music, go and definitely get involved with this. Now, a few small updates on me and the YouTube channel. First of all, I can't post anything on the community updates yet. I really, really hate YouTube for this. Basically, I've tried to get the community post tab opened and working. I've got it working on the podcast channel. It's working absolutely fine. But on mine, no. It's just like, no, you can't do this. You're a robot. So apparently I'm a robot in YouTube's eyes. And I can't upload to the community tab post unless I verify who I really am. So YouTube have been like, well, you can complete this verification step in a couple of ways. I'm pretty sure most of you do know this. If you're a YouTuber and done YouTube, it's part of what happens. But they were like, you need to send us an ID. You need to send us an ID of yourself, you know. So I was like, okay. So I did. I sent them through my ID, a picture and everything, you know, all that jazz. And YouTube were like, no. And it said it'd take up to 1 day. It took me up to 1 week to hear back from them and they just never responded. So I'm like, well, maybe I don't exist. Maybe my ID just does not work. So I had to go down another route. One of the other options were YouTube channel history. Keep uploading videos, keep doing live streams, and we'll then notice that you're not a robot yet. Honestly, YouTube, I'm not a robot. I don't know how to convince you I'm not a robot. I'm not an AI. Do I look like an AI? So yeah, I'm really sorry. That unfortunately I can't post anything on the community tab post yet until 2 months. YouTube have got to watch all my videos and make sure that I really am a human being with flesh, eyes, and a brain, and apparently not metal screws and bolts. Because I'm not a robot. So if any of you are wondering if you can come to my channel for the polls and votes as well for the Nintendo Music Wars, then I'm afraid you can't. I can't post the polls on here. So this is all you're going to get about the Nintendo Music Wars, this video. That's it. So for all the action, you got to go and head over and check out the Giles Gaming Podcast, Elijah Terp's YouTube channel, and that's where all the fun's going to happen. And of course, join in all our social medias. Small update. My gecko, I've not really told anyone on YouTube yet, but I've got a gecko, and I've had him for 8 years. But I've just recently revamped his entire tank to bioactive. I used to did not have a bioactive tank for him. I used to have just general orchid bark and fake plants, and it was a palaver. I had to keep on taking everything out and clean it all through. So now I've actually finally got a bioactive tank set up, and it's really fun. For those of you who don't know what bioactive means, it's basically like a real natural environment inside a tank. It's on a cycle. So the real plants in there, the bulb will like give the plants the sunlight. I'm just really happy. It looks a lot nicer as well in the videos. I've got like a nice glowing aesthetic tank rainforest in the back. So really nice. But anyway, someone did ask me, do I like Japan? Now I'm hoping to do like a Q&A, personal Q&A on my YouTube channel at some point, and I'll ask you guys to send in questions, but that's for a later date. But someone did ask me, do I like Japan? And saying, do I like Japan because of all my Japanese posters? I've got one on Kyoto up there, and I also got one I've got a massive map of Japan. The answer is yes, I am a massive fan of Japan, and I'm hoping to go literally this year. So I'll be making a video there as well, a couple of videos there. Let me know what you want to see. If I'm going to Japan, I'm going to definitely vlog some of it, so please let me know if you want to see anything in Japan. And yeah, Japan is my favourite country. I'm fascinated by the culture, and I'm really just, that's for another kind of entire, I could do an entire video explaining why I like Japan, but yeah, that's for another video. But anyway, this was a small update video telling you about the Nintendo Music Wars. With that being said, let the Nintendo Music Wars begin. We're never going to come to an conclusion. We're never going to come to an